Do you ever wonder if the ancient world of Africa had castles? Today we will be looking at the oldest maps of Africa. This will change the way you think of Africa. Cantino Planisphere, 1502, you can see a massive castle in West Africa. This shows massive stones walls with a flourishing green fields in the Sahara. Now this shows that a king, castle, or city was built here. But the appearance of the castle doesn't necessarily mean this is how it looks. Tabula Nova Etrusque, Africae 1540, shows many crowns layer out in each corner of Africa, meaning there is a king. And again, a green field in the middle of the Sahara. And scientists said it all dried up? The Voyage to Cape Blanco, 1434, it shows the coast of West Africa. And look, many castles and pillars upright, showing how advanced Africa is. Miller Atlas 1519 is a very detailed map depicting many kings, animals, and castles. Look closer, you will see the kings all have golden crowns, staff, and castles. So the "we was kings" phrase is already refuted. Africae Tabula Nova 1570 is the new map of Africa. The map was originally published by Flemish cartographer Abraham Ortelius. All these small dots you see are all castles, cities, and towns, which is scattered throughout Africa. Catalan Atlas 1375 is the most famous map, which also depicts the richest man in the world, Mansa, Musa. Also, many of these maps was colored later, so don't take many of the skin tones serious. Many Arabs and Levantes passed through the Sahel for trade, which caused North Africa to become mixed and diverse over time. Last map is utterly amazing. Framaro map shows detailed complexion African. Temples, castles, cities, pillars, and towns having way more to offer. It proves that Africa wasn't primitive. And they did indeed have palaces like the rest of the world. Mind you, this doesn't show how the castles really looked like, but it shows that there were massive structures throughout all of Africa before the European nations destroyed them. So then, why does media and history books portray African history as primitive? Do they not do enough studies or be ignorant? And try to keep this propaganda continuing? So the phrase "we was kangs" and that Africa is primitive is being said by many whites and North Africans. But their same ancient ancestors saying otherwise, refuting their own descendants' claim. Eyewitness stepping foot on African soil, seeing these massive structures. So why the lies? When did this narrative change about the view of Africa? The media love to show African dwellings, and posted on media as an attack to show how non-advanced African civilization is, but this is far from the truth. Why do Africans still live like this? Go check out my latest video about this reason. We will take a look at some palaces that are still up today and what they could have used for building material. Just because a civilization uses sticks and mud doesn't mean the structure is primitive. This church in Ethiopia is carved out by hand, no modern machinery. Black Africans have built many temples and structures by hand, only using ancient tools. This church isn't stacked brick by brick, but would you still say it's primitive? Same with the Kano wall, made of pure solid mud that wraps around an entire city with massive gates and doors, but still labeled as undeveloped. Fossilized palaces made out of pure brick and stone, but still many say we only constructed huts, which is far from the truth. The list can go on and on and on all the way till next Christmas. Brick, stone, sticks, wood, clay, limestone, etc., you name it. Africa carry a lot of ground materials, so we used it to our advantage. There are so many, it would take 50 years to complete the full history of African palaces. And yes, most of the material is made from mud brick while other are stone. Just think, if we have this many surviving buildings today, of these massive structures, just imagine what else Africans have built before colonialism destroyed many things. Here is a before and after of the Nubian pyramids located in Sudan. Many Arabs and Europeans burned and destroyed African achievements. Was it because of jealousy? Or something else?
Why on earth does a map that was created closer to 500 years ago, and which also happens to be one of the world's first ever maps to depict the entire continent of Africa as a whole, clearly illustrate lakes, rivers, and even a dense forest the size of Texas in the middle of the Sahara Desert, which...
Wait a minute, pause for a second. You telling me there was still flowing water and trees in the middle of the Sahara? This tells us that there was always a back and forward migration in and out of North Africa, and no magic wall blocking Sub-Sahara Africa and North Africa. Eyewitness and scientists contradicting each other?
Which, needless to say, is obviously far different than the vast, barren, continental-sized desert that we all know it for today. It must be mentioned that considering that this map was created by Sebastian Münster, who has been said to be one of the most influential cartographers of the 16th century, as he was the first person to print separate maps for each continent around the world. This caused me to go down the so-called rabbit hole in search of the oldest maps of Africa, and I could not believe just how many showed the Sahara saturated with lakes, rivers, and even numerous cities and settlements scattered throughout the region. Whether it be this striking map created in 1482 by German printer Reinhard Holl, and upon closer inspection, you can see not only rivers and lakes, but numerous cities blanketing the entire region. Again, what on earth is all of this doing in the middle of the Sahara on a 500-year-old map?
Still green in the Sahara? Meaning there were many trees and rivers still present in the Sahara. And if they say many black Africans left due to drying in the Sahara, which is true, but millions of black Africans stayed back in North Africa because running water was always present at the Nile Valley, Mediterranean coast, Tamanrasset River, the Kafur River. The Maga Lakes and Lake Magafezin all spans around 5,000 to 3,000 years. Meaning they had running water and trees even till 3,000 years ago. So saying every African left is ridiculous. A lot of people say this because during the colonial era, European historians and anthropologists try to divide Africa into strict racial blocks, trying to say Egypt couldn't be achieved by black Africans. All blacks left North Africa due to dryness, which many still say today. But if these rivers did dry up, that means they would flee to the Nile River and the Mediterranean.